Tank fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot.
It's a little known fact that several of the most influential people in Scottish history were born in the Kirkcaldy area. Sir Sandford Fleming, the man who proposed the world's time zones, and some claim he even created a special time zone just for Fife. Adam Smith, one of the most important economists in history. Pop artist Jack Vetriano. Architect Robert Adam, and many more. One consistency across all their successes was the fact they moved out of town. As if to buck that trend, there is one chap who is rather famous in Scottish cyclocross circles and has moved into the area quite recently. And that is King of Scottish cyclocross, who on earth started that? John McComsky. He's been in Fife for under a year and we're now covering the second of his cyclocross races. The contrast this throws on previous activity in the area is telling. It seems that McComsky is making the Langtoons sit up and take notice of cyclocross racing. The Cross Report has been here before, of course, having covered their first race in September. On that day there were some riders who managed to get around the entire course without having to put a foot on the ground. Not this time. Oh no. The course was a slight departure from the one we met in September. The conditions were, however, the main talking point. It was muddy. Boy, was it muddy. But like the troopers that they were, the Super Quaich faithful didn't complain. Quite the contrary, in fact. They were as happy as pigs in shit. The B race kicked off in the worst conditions with strong winds and rain. Russell Craig of Ethan was the early leader of the race before slipping back and eventually suffering from mechanical woes. David Murdoch of No Fixed Abode in cycling club terms had a stuttering start before taking the lead on lap 4, only to lose his lead to Kevin Pugh on the penultimate lap. He was, however, able to wrestle back the lead on the last lap and take the win. Pugh came in second, and in a repeat to Doon Bank, the ride of the day belonged to the third place rider in the B race. Martin Steele of VC Milan got off to the kind of start that Katie Compton would be proud of, in that it was an utter pish start. On lap 2 he'd managed to get into 17th position, then picked up 1 or 2 places in the following few laps. But as time rolled on, the race swung in favour of the seasoned crosser. Marty clambered steadily up to 4th place in the following laps, where he stayed for 3 more laps, but in the last lap he was able to sneak himself onto the podium, and a guaranteed ride in the A race at Bo'ness beckoned. I'm pretty sure Sven Ness comparisons were being drawn in the Steele household that night. Erica Allen of VC Milan, who had been relegated from the A races at Doon Bank, dominated the women's field in the B race, but her 12th place overall wasn't high enough to see her promoted for the next round at Bo'ness. The A races in the Super Quaich have been a revelation, or should I say the Young Guns have been the revelation, and Beveridge Park was no exception. We're used to seeing Davy Lines of Wheelbase win the race, and well yeah, he did that again on this occasion. But let's not take anything away from the fireman for Falkirk. He has had a fantastic season this time around. This was his last race of the season, and he finished it as he started it, with a win in Kirkcaldy. Nae bunny hops this time around though. We're used to seeing Gary MacDonald of Hope Racing follow up Davy in second spot when he's there, but the Young Guns hadn't read the script this time around, and it was Cameron Mason of Leslie Bikes, Struan Pride of Deeside Thistle, and Sean Flynn of ERC who were dueling it out in Lines' shadow. Connor Johnson was just off the pace this time around, but did himself and his family rather proud given the circumstances. Connor, we were all very sorry to hear of your loss. Mason was the rider who looked the most sprightly at the start of the race, but we've seen him fall back a little at the end of these hour-long races, and this was to be no different. A 5th place finish for the 15-year-old is not to be sniffed at, mind you. With the Leslie Bikes rider falling off the pace, it was down to Pride and Flynn to spart out to decide the order they would stand on the podium. There was rather a lot of activity in the pits at this race, and I'm hoping a few parents got some well-deserved gratitude for their efforts later on in the day. Flynn edged ahead of Pride with a few laps to go and was able to make it stick and take second place, with Struan falling up in third. We'll see these young guys again at Bo'ness, and I for one am looking forward to it. With Maddie Robinson taking the microphone instead of the start line at this race, Anne Ewing of WV Breda was without a challenger for first woman, and this must surely see her take the overall lead in the series as first woman. It will be interesting to see how she fares at Bo'ness. The course suits her, but she'll be lining up against Maddie Robinson of VC Milan, the current Scottish champion Lucy Grant, two-time dig-in champion and former Scottish champion Isla Short, and our fellow Commonwealth Games competitor Kerry McPhee. It should be worth watching. If you want to keek at the series standing, you can find them at superquaich.cx with 2 wins and a 3rd place, and the fact that each rider drops their worst placing, Line seems to have the series sewn up, and looks like being the first man to take home the trophy that we've yet to buy and have engraved, but let's not dwell on these minor details. The race for 2nd and 3rd place in the series is wide open, however. With some riders having sat out Doonbank or had stinkers, there are a few names lurking in the top 10 who could launch themselves into one of these spots with a good result at Bo'ness. James McCallan, having been winner of the first ever Digging at the Dock, must surely be a contender. Jackson is sitting in 4th spot but won't be at Bo'ness, so it's hard to see him holding on to 4th spot. With the 21st of February and Digging at the Dock looming large, I'll just about manage to race at Dunfermline on Sunday, but won't be able to rattle out a report, I'm afraid. If you're not racing at Bo'ness, we'd love to see you come down to watch. We have some fantastic prizes for Best Photograph, Best Overall Spectator and Best Supporting Club, so there's some fun to be had. Oh yeah, there's also a bike race happening. If you've got a young one with a balance bike, then bring them along, as the Air Burners will be putting on a wee balance bike course. You can find out more on the Digging at the Dock Facebook page. See you then, and thanks for watching.